Hi, this is Dave from Heroes Needed, just one of the many fine shows you can find on the Nod Network. Visit us on nerdod.com or subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or wherever else you get your favorite podcasts.
For example's sake, as we're using Paw Patrol as the example, so yes, Dan, this might be a 68-minute pod about Paw Patrol.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nerd OD podcast. Tonight you've got me, Dave, and you've got Dan.
Hi.
And you've got Reg.
How do?
So let's talk about nerd things.
Oh, such a smooth intro. That's why I love having you on board.
I've been away for a little while, so I thought I should really, amp that up a little bit.
Should Nerd Things be the new name of our podcast?
Nerd things. Nerdful things.
Ooh! That works so well.
There you go.
That's definitely taken. That's definitely someone's.
It has to be. If not, missing a trick.
And you have such nerdful things. Even Google even.
Yeah, it literally
Nerdful thing. Yeah. Well, no, it's just
a family-run business.
Family-run local business.
Not anymore.
In a place called Moncton, in New Brunswick.
Nope, now it is a podcast powerhouse in the northwest of England.
Yeah, they have got they're an Instagram account now.
It's over. It's over.
The dream is dead.
Oh, sorry, this is a rabbit hole that I should be going down in my own time. Right?
No, it's been a while, so I know you guys have been holding the fort with all things geeky and nerdy, so what's going on?
Pressure now.
Well, I can tell you what's been going on. There's a brand new series of Paw Patrol that includes dinosaurs.
What?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't feel it. I'm not. That Paw Patrol is not the one that gets me. I'll be honest. My daughter's 18 months old. She watches it occasionally.
If I had the choice of Paw Patrol or Ben and Holly's Magic Kingdom, then give me Paw Patrol any fucking day.
Nothing wrong with Ben and Holly. That's got proper in-jokes for parents, man.
It was good the first, say, about 30 times of Series 1 and 2. After that, literally, where is the razor blades?
Can I point out the problem I've got with Paw Patrol? And this is going to alienate most of the audience.
It probably won't.
But they've got one pup who can fly. One out of the whole crew. So at any point, there's anything to do with flying around, it's always, Sky, I guess you're in because you're the only one who can fly. We've got 6 guys over here with trucks, and we've got 1 person with a helicopter. That's an oversight. That is a terrible oversight.
It does vary on if you're watching Mighty Pups. If you watch
when they've all got superpowers, yeah, bullshit, man.
Superpowers and fly. Or, well, to be fair with you, it's good in a way because they've all got their own unique things. Obviously, her name's Sky, so I tell you what, you can control the sky.
Yeah.
That was fortunate, wasn't it?
It was very fortunate. You've got like Marshall, who's the fire marshal.
Yeah. Annoys me, that dog. Really annoys me, that dog.
I quite like, and I think it's a toss-up. Having a look at Oliver's toys, it's a toss-up between either Marshall or Rubble. Rubble is probably his favourite.
I like Rubble. I'll tell you what left me absolutely shook when I was watching Paw Patrol. I say that. B was watching Paw Patrol. I was watching B. Obviously. And the actor who voices Chase, the dog who's dressed like a police officer, the voice actor was different, and it shook me.
So Series 1 of Paw Patrol has the worst voice acting of anything ever. They were like, we've got this great scheme of like, here's what we want to do, here's a good plot going forward, here's how we can do it. Have we got anyone that can do it? Oh, there's no one else in. How about we get the cleaner from across the road in the Mexican restaurant who doesn't speak a fucking word of English to narrate it? And it's just awful. None of them sound the way that they do after season 1.
You know what? It's funny you should mention a Mexican restaurant, and I'll tell you why. And that's a very weird segue. I appreciate it.
Accidental segue, Reg. Well done.
But the first time I ever saw Paw Patrol was long before I had a kid, and it justified it. And I was in a small family-run Mexican restaurant in New York City. And we'd gone in there. We were on a food tour, and we've gone to this place, and it was incredible, right? And so later that week, we were like, well, we're going to go back there, and we're going to get tacos. It's going to be great. So we went in. We're the only people in the place, me and my wife. And we get our food, and the guy's running the place and eat food there. And there's two young girls, who are sitting at one of the tables and watching the TV, which has got Paw Patrol on it. And they're his daughters, I presume. And he goes into the kitchen, and we're eating our food, and it's all very good.
And they just say, like, help us. No, he's gone, please.
No,
help
so
us escape.
we're just eating, like it's no big deal. And then after about 10 minutes, the dad, proprietor of the restaurant, came in through the front doors. So he'd obviously gone out the back to deliver stuff or whatever, and then come back 10, 15 minutes later. So we had inadvertently been babysitting his kids without realizing it for about 10 or 15 minutes while they were watching Paw Patrol and we were eating tacos. Very strange. Nice. That's the first time I ever saw Paw Patrol.
Wow.
And I was accidentally babysitting the guy's kids.
Practice.
It was, yeah. I wasn't very good at it. So I was too obsessed with my tacos.
Did they die?
They did not die.
Then you were good at it, David.
Babysit successful.
Any babysitting you can walk away from.
Exactly. So, are we just going to call this episode the one where we talk about Paw Patrol for 68 minutes?
Well,
I think it needs to be Nerdo D is on a roll. That kind of hits me.
Yes, that's the episode title. 100%.
Meanwhile, Dan's like, I don't understand that reference. I don't watch cartoons.
I was wondering whether I should laugh then to be polite, but
of course you should. That's
Paw Patrol. We're on a roll.
Okay, right.
Here we
makes
go.
sense.
Paw Patrol.
Reg is off.
That's blooming the Spider-Man song. Here we go. Paw Patrol. He's got radioactive stuff.
No. But still, thank you for trying.
I like your version, but I'm not sure it's the version.
No. Thanks.
See, this is why you're going to be such an amazing dad when B grows up and she's like, Dad, look at this. And you're like, I really like the effort you put in there because it makes you feel wholesome that you did a good thing. And then you slam down. Whereas when Oliver goes, look, Dad, at this drawing, I'll be like, son, that's dead shit. Well done.
No, Lou gets mad at me because Lou gets mad at me because I get too into the kids' cartoons because I analyze them, and I make no apologies. Like the cartoons are simple. If you let yourself get too into it, you have to make up your own fiction because it's too simple most of the time, right? And that's why I was fully intending to start series that go alongside the kid series, and I ripped off the name from the idea for Reg After Dark, and name all of these series such and such After Dark. So Paw Patrol After Dark, Peppa Pig After Dark, all that kind of stuff. Because I had this whole thing about Paw Patrol, right? Like there's no consequence. Like they catch someone who did a bad thing, Mayor Humdinger. He's always up to bad shit.
Yeah, me and I should talk about this.
There's never any consequence. They just go, "Oh, shouldn't do that," and he goes, "Oh, I guess you're right." Like you robbed shit. You like kidnapped a kid. Like tore up a building, and they're like, "Oh, naughty Mayor Humdinger." Bearing in mind, he's the mayor of another town, which he's never fucking in, and he's over here doing crime, and there's no consequence. So my whole thing was a whole episode series arc where they kill him basically, and then they have to keep pretending that he's around so that no one knows that they've offed the guy.
That did go dark.
I know, and Lou just thinks that it wouldn't catch on, and I think there's a lot of frustrated parents out there who would definitely want to watch a show where the annoying characters from these kids' cartoons either get their comeuppance or possibly die. I just think they want to watch it.
I would happily watch. So, for example's sake, as we're using Paw Patrol as the example, so yes, Dan, this might be a 68-minute pod about Paw Patrol. But you've got a firefighter, so they could go into the city where there's an arsonist that's going around doing it. You've got, so they've got to try and stop him, and they go and do proper heroic things when the places are on fire. And Marshall could literally get trapped and he could burn. You've got Chase the police cop who could go into a drug ring. There's
undercover.
So many dark. There's so many amazing dark stories you could use with these.
Gets in too deep.
It's amazing. So yes. Can I be part of this when you create it?
Rubble. He's hiding from his past where he was a serial killer, burying people alive. That's what he did. And now You know, there's a whole.
There you go. And then he can also coincide with Rocky, who recycles everything. So like all the weapons and stuff, he
mulching all the bodies
into it all.
Mulching all the bodies.
It would be amazing. And then Sky can literally just drop all the bodies off in the middle of the ocean because she can use her helicopter. She's like their mule.
Oh, she's a full-on smuggler.
Yeah.
She's a smuggler.
She's the smuggler.
Yeah,
perfect. So
she's crossing the border.
That's it. And then the drug runner can be Zoomer on his hovercraft.
Yeah. And I think that as well. There's call for this in other ways. You know, of course, there's Peppa Pig's ripe for it. You know, because you got this whole thing about animals coexisting, where some of them are predators, and they always make funny jokes about it, and it's all quite lighthearted. Yeah, but what if one day, you know, Mr. Wolf just eats Mummy Pig, like full on goes feral and eats her, and the town is aghast. And Miss Rabbit's called in to try and bring him down because she does every job in the whole place. And then,
still winds
you know, it's the whole thing about, you know, Peppa has to overcome her nature, and how does she, you know, get revenge because her mother's been eaten by a wolf, but she's a pig. How does she fight against a wolf? You know, and she enlists her friends who are also predators, like the cats and the dogs. It can go a long way. I think it's got legs.
It's like the opposite of the Turtles, because the Turtles started off as comic really dark, like so dark with murdering and like drugs and stuff, and then they were like, hey, let's make a really fun cheesy 87 like cartoon from it, which was nothing like the comic strip, whereas we're just going to go full on the opposite way, where it's like, look at all these nice fun things, we're just going to turn it dark and fucked up.
It's strange, isn't it, that they thought that needed a kid's cartoon. Had the comic taken that turn yet to be a bit more bright and cheerful?
It didn't at all. Funny. And to be fair, most of the comics to this date aren't anything like the 87 run, and most of the iterations following on from that haven't as well. Like I think 2003 variation of the Turtles is probably the closest one, and that's dark. But it's like in one of the sort of latest ones, I think it's Donnie dies, Donatello.
Yeah.
And it's brutal. And like it's the latest run comic strip that's coming out. They're called The Last Ronin, where we did like the N64 over, where all the turtles got killed apart from one, and he's now out on a vengeance mission where he's going to just go on a murdering spree to get vengeance for the death of his brothers. So so the comic strips are dark, and I don't understand why they were like, hey, let's make loads of kid fun things about it. Like, I'm happy they did, because now Oliver can watch this sort of stuff. Oh yeah,
it's harder to sell toys to kids if they're covered in blood.
Yeah. So do you want to know why I let you guys just go on about Paw Patrol for what are we at, 20 minutes? Okay, not quite that bad. 12 minutes. Because one of our semi-successful videos is all about Postman Pat. We got 2,500 views on that video, Reg. So clearly there is some overlap between Kids TV and Nerd OD.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that
video as well. That was one of the first ones that I was like, Mum, look at this. Look what we've done. And she's like, of all the videos you want to show off to the world, it's one where you're stealing Postman Pat toys. I'm like, yeah, but look at it.
That's terrible parents letting you do this. Setting the house on fire.
Fun times.
But yeah, anywho.
Don't get me started on Fireman Sam. I'll be here all day.
Sam Tan, because I grew up in Wales, so he was on Espedwellec, and he was Sam Tan, which is Fire Sam, basically.
Fire Sam. You know what gets me with that show? There's a whole crew of firefighters, whole crew of them, and when everyone goes, "Oh, the fire!" I'll call Fireman Sam. Like, he's not even the highest ranking firefighter. Like,
no, he's just literally one of the firefighters.
He's just one of the guys. Like, why? Like, they've got, there's loads of them. Why is it always call him? If I was the other ones, I would feel in Fireman Sam After Dark, there'd be a whole story about Wendy and Elvis trying to like trap Sam in a burning building because they're sick of him, taking the lead on everything. Yeah.
And so someone put up on one of the Geek Dad pages that I follow on Facebook, they literally totted up the cost of all the things that I can't remember the name of the fuck. Is it Neville?
Norman Price.
Norman Price.
That motherfucker.
So, all the things that he
Is he the kid with glasses?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
That's not why I hate him.
No, but he's irritating because he's the reason why Fireman Exam exists as a cartoon, because he's a fucking idiot. So they totted up how much that would have cost the government in that section to actually spend on firemen's, on police and stuff, against the cost of how much it said take for him to go to boarding school because and then juvie and stuff, and the cost was insane, how much he actually did in real money if this was a real thing, how much that would cost. I'm fair play, why isn't he either been offed or sent to a boarding school?
I'm not going to lie to you. There are few characters in fiction that make me more angry than Norman Price and Fireman Sam.
Yeah.
That kid, man. He's responsible for half of the fucking town burning down.
He's a dick. He's an absolute annoying... I hate Peppa Pig because she is so arrogant and just me, and she's just a horrible, nasty little shit.
I can't have anything bad said about Peppa Pig, man.
Yeah, no, you can. You can.
Oh, man.
She's an absolute... And I would use the C word, but, we are on we're not on Reg After Dark, so I'd just say fucking horrible little cow or pig. She lives
the C word was cow. Sorry.
She lives up to her name of being a pig because she's just an arrogant little fuck. Genuinely despise her.
You're so mad about
there's no meaning behind any of her cartoons. There's nothing. She wants something, she gets her way every goddamn fucking time. At least with Ben and Holly, they learn stuff and they have lessons, and there's always stuff about it. It's the same voice crew, it's the same people that created it, everything. But there's reasons and meanings behind it. Peppa Pig, fucking despise. She's just a...
I want to back you here. I want to back you here, Reg, but unfortunately, I've got to take the opposite stance. I think Peppa Pig does everyone a great service.
No, because there's so many other cartoons out there that kids can watch that are fucked them better. I don't understand how she got so fucking popular, because none of her fucking things are nice at all. She gets upset when someone else gets the toy that she's got or that she wants. She gets fucking upset that she has to, she's sharing a room with her brother, and her brother gets out a toy dinosaur to play with. And then she's like, Mom, Dad, George is playing in the bedroom and I want to play in the bedroom. He's got one fucking dinosaur out. So you fucking act out, love. She is just an obnoxious little shit.
Reg, I'm so much anger here for a pig, man.
I've got another, how long have I got? 40 minutes, Dan?
Yeah, roughly.
I can do this. I could do a full podcast dedicated to
you could do this all day.
Peppa Pig. She's a horrible little cunt. Don't like it.
Oh, there he goes.
Don't like it. Sorry. Complete that word
out.
I didn't
do we
use it.
Do we need an extra podcast, Reg, where we just talk about kids' cartoons? Is that what's happening?
Yes, 100%. Me and you could do an awesome kids' cartoon pod.
Because I think eventually Dan's going to be like, shut up about the cartoons, you assholes. I've been on holiday. Haven't you, Dan?
Is that your segue for me?
Oh, yeah. Because otherwise we're just going to be here for the next hour talking about Peppa Pig.
we spent at least half of the podcast last week talking about being on holiday.
But only Lego.
That's true.
Now I want to know the rest.
Who doesn't love Lego?
Because you were actually there last week.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I was sat in a lovely little lodge in a little town in the middle of the Danish countryside, and I podcasted. It was great. Never done that before. I don't know why we haven't. It's
like everyone can afford to go to Denmark and sit in a lodge for the podcast.
I didn't mean that.
Wait, I mean, now Nerdody has to podcast from a lodge in Denmark.
Ever since we discovered that Skype can record conversations, it's just opened up so many possibilities. We can podcast from anywhere now.
Can?
Yeah, remember when I think it was when I first went to Japan, and we just didn't have a podcast for 2 weeks.
Yeah, the first time, right? I tried the second time.
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, yeah, I think you did. You and Sean did try one episode, didn't you? And it was interesting.
Yeah, and then strangely he wasn't available for the second one. So
yeah, it's funny. Well, yeah. The only thing I really wanted to talk about was I went to basically. I think I mentioned it, but in the middle of Copenhagen, right next to the main train station is a theme park, and it's bizarre. It's like this walled off theme park. The sort of restaurants and shops and things in just like this big square, and in the middle of that is this beautiful, just amazing park filled with theme park rides, like about 4 roller coasters and probably half a dozen like flat rides, probably more than that. It's amazing what they fitted in, and it's so good. But it's the specific thing I want to talk about. I went on there's a ride there called the roller coaster, and it is the 3rd oldest roller coaster in the world, and it was built in 1914. It's 106 years old, and it's still going.
Did it feel like it was 106 years old when you were on it? Was it all right?
We were on another ride, which was right next to it. In fact, we were on like it was a Ferris wheel right next to it, and we saw it going. And it's just each car's got 2 seats in, and between the 2nd and 3rd car, there was a man sort of stood up on the ride. We're like, why is there a man actually standing on the ride? He was just on his own, so everyone else was in 2s, and he's just stood there. And you can see there's a little seat sort of raised up, so he was sort of stood up but leaning back. It was almost like a high stool. And we couldn't work out why. We thought, is that maybe just like some special seat, and you get to ride standing up to try and make it more exciting because it's rubbish because it's 106 years old. But turns out that's the man driving it.
Oh wow!
What?
Okay, so I mean it's on a track, and it's just there's a lift hill, and then the rest of it is gravity. But he's got like one of those brakes you see on like trains, the ones you pull the handle on, then pull the lever back.
Mm.
He's got one of those, so he is just controlling the speed. He's braking when he needs to, or she. They're braking whenever they need to, and that's it. And that's how old it is. There is no electronics to start and stop the ride. It's just someone pulling a lever to make the brakes work. So the station is on a very slight hill, so he'll stop, where you get on, and then once everyone's loaded, they'll let the brake off, and the car will just roll down around the corner and hit a lift hill, which is just like this. It was just like this sort of metal rope pulling the car up. It's just bizarre. And I've seen videos and photos of really, 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 really old roller coasters. Like there was, I think, one opened in like on Coney Island. It was one of the first ones, and it's just a straight strip. It just sort of goes almost like the Thunder Looper, but far less exciting. It sort of gets pulled back and then goes forward and over a little hill and then up and then back down and stops in the station. And that's what I thought. The 3rd oldest roller coaster in the world. I thought this is going to be like it's going to be really poor. Just loads. It goes all over the place. It turns around. It goes it's up and down. It's amazing. Just the fact that they managed to build this in 1914 blew my mind, to be quite honest. And the fact it's still running.
What was the safety like when you were in? Were you strapped in, or?
It was just a lap bar, standard lap bar. But we got the front row, and then later on in the day, we went on it again, and we went back row. And I've never experienced that much pain on a ride before. Because the lap bar is just literally like a metal bar. And it's got a lot of movement. There was probably a good 2 inches of movement. It would go down, it would click into place, and I could move loads, and the bar would go up and down. So we either had someone who wasn't going very easy on the brake, or it was just a lot faster at the wrong points in the back, because we went over the first hill into the dip and then up, and you sort of lifted out your seat by a good 2 or 3 inches and then slammed back down. And it's the second time in my life that I remember bruising my butt. One was something Reg was involved in that I'm not going to go into, and the second was
there's the clip.
There's the clip. It was so painful, so painful. Landed right on my butt bone, whatever that's called.
So rewarding.
Oh gosh, it was horrible. One nice thing was though, so with the ticket you get unlimited ride photos, digital ride photos. So we've got photos of every ride we went on. That had photos. It was nice. It was really just a really nice experience. And it closed at 11.
The one of when you landed on your coccyx.
I haven't got that exact moment, unfortunately. I've got the photo of it because Shell is laughing her ass off. Sat next to me, just when she'll hate me for saying this, but she probably won't listen. But when she really, really laughs, it's like a honk. It's like a that sort of thing, and she was doing that. I haven't heard that noise in quite some time, unfortunately. So yeah, really need to work on my comedy routines. But anywho,
injure yourself some more because it sounds like she finds your pain amusing.
Absolutely. To be fair, I'm hurt all over after that holiday. I slipped over in the kitchen wearing socks. It was like cork floor and it was really shiny. And I walked around the corner with a knife in my hand as well because I was about to cut a loaf of bread, and it fell over and landed on my knee, and it really hurts. So
Ferris Bueller, but gone wrong. Just go sliding.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Our apartment was weird though. I don't know why I'm whispering.
Yeah, why are you whispering in case they're listening?
Yeah. So it was like an Airbnb type situation. Booking.com does apartments now, so you can put your own place on. And it was a really nice location. Like we had a balcony that overlooked the river. It was beautiful, really old timey building on like the top floor. And I've read all the reviews and people were saying, oh, it was like it's like an art gallery. It's not like a hotel. The place is full of art, and it was. Every inch of the walls was covered in paintings or just like statues everywhere. He had 2 gravestones in the apartment.
Right.
But basically, that's not the weird thing. One, he had a 7-foot Roman centurion statue. And this was on like the 5th floor of a building. I don't know how he got it up there. It was massive. It's just sat in the living room. But he had a lot of naked pictures and sculptures and all sorts of things. There was a painting of some man who had men's phalluses as his hair. He had...
Bring on, you mean into dickhead.
Yeah, boom. There you go. There's the clip, Red. And he had a picture of 2 ladies enjoying each other. That was good. He had like a sort of a relief of a man's posterior, and then above it, the other side. Honestly, it was, and this place was massive. This was in such an amazing location, and he had so much that this guy must have been absolutely loaded. I don't know why he was renting out the room in his apartment. He had
How else would he show off his ridiculous collection of pig penis art?
And there was a time there was a code to get out the door, and I to get back in the building, and I forgot what it was. So I rang. I looked around, couldn't find him. So I thought I'll ring him. Phone rang, didn't answer, and then I heard him moving, and he came round the corner, and he's just standing in his wife front. Oh, did you ring? And I'm like, yes. We just don't know the code for the door. Oh, all right, it's this. Okay, thanks. Please put on some clothes. It was a very
magnificent.
But the rest of the holiday was great.
I would say if you can come out of a holiday with a story like that, that's also pretty great. I mean, it's not often you stay in a place where a man's got that many penises on display, including at times his own. So, yeah, people would pay extra for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
So you did, kind of. You did.
Yeah, I was going to say you definitely did.
Yeah. One of the best things though. So we sort of, I wouldn't say run out of things to do, but we probably would have struggled on Sunday. Our flight was at 10 to 10 at night, and we weren't sure what to do. And then on Friday afternoon, good old Boris announced that you're allowed to travel to Sweden now, which before we'd have had to have quarantined for 14 days if we'd have gone to Sweden, because they just went, coronavirus, yeah, we'll deal with it, and just did nothing. So herd immunity seemed to be their tactic. And it's kind of worked because there's very little there now. There's really not much going on. So they opened up the border at 4 a.m. on Saturday morning to say that we could travel. And basically Copenhagen is right on the coast, and there's this beautiful long bridge. And then you've got Malmo, which is a town in Sweden. So we took the train across to Sweden. So that was lovely. Nice. Unexpected trip to Sweden.
Bonus piece of holiday.
It was great. It was really nice. Yeah. But one of the nicest things about the whole trip, it was really nice to, I wouldn't say forget about everything that's going on, but Denmark and Sweden are sort of at the point where they've got their act together a heck of a lot better than the UK had. So you had to wear masks on public transport, and we had to wear them on some rides. So they were allowed to run the rides at like full capacity, not that they were because the place was dead, if you wore a mask. So the roller coasters, you'd wear a mask. But other than that, it was just really nice to just be able to walk around and not even think about it. Restaurants were fine, shops, it's really, really good. I'd recommend it. Unless you've got a cough, then,
Yeah, maybe not.
That's what I'm wrestling with, the sort of a little bit of a cold at the minute, and it's manifesting itself as a bit of a tickly cough. And I know full well I'll start coughing and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just got a fucking cold, man. Like, ease off. Like,
yeah. It is crazy. Ash was feeling it a bit under the weather the other week, and then the first thing we did was like, we're gonna have to get the test. We know it's not that, but we're gonna have to get tests because it's like if we don't, then we're just gonna be like, But then at the same time, it's sorry. Yeah, you're pregnant or COVID. But no, COVID. That test, not the other test. Me and Dan talked about the pregnancy tests last week because you can now play Doom on them, which is great. But not that, the actual COVID test.
Wait. You can play Doom on a pregnancy test?
Yeah, someone's a little digital screen. I mean, it's not even necessarily you can play Doom. I'm assuming you can play anything on it. But that's the thing they've shown off.
Yeah, there's a Reddit thread called "Can blank blank play Doom," and it's just some programmers like they all just be like, right, I'm going to try it on this, and some programmer got a digital pregnancy test and was like, I'm pretty sure there's a way we can do it. So he got inside it and managed to mod it so it can play. Like, it looks horrendous, but at the same time awesome. Doom on a pregnancy test, and I'm like, that is phenomenal.
I have to say, I love the internet. I do. Because
it's good, isn't it?
You just wouldn't get stuff like that without the internet. And that makes me sad.
It really, really does. You know what makes me sad? So 4 years ago today, to this day, I met Gaston at Disney, and now I'm not at Disney meeting Gaston, and people who go to Disney won't be able to hold Gaston the way I did because of social distancing and stuff. Which is unfortunate.
I feel like after you held Gaston the way that you did, no one else was allowed to hold Gaston the way that you did.
That's fair. That's also very true. But yeah, it was literally my honeymoon 4 year ago, and I was on holiday in the greatest place in the world.
Well, congratulations for 4 years ago.
Thank you very much. I called it my honeyversary, and I plan on celebrating my honeyversary some point soon back there.
That's it. Like we had a plan to go to Disney end of this year, and sort of earlier on, probably sort of January, February, we were already kind of like, okay, probably not going to do it this year, maybe next year. And then all this kicked off, and it's like, whew, I'm so glad we didn't book some kind of non-refundable nonsense. So,
same time though,
good job that none of us did something like that, right?
I think Sean will still go. You know. I've got a feeling that it'll still go, and he'll have an amazing time because it's so dead.
The States have, I don't think they've said which ones yet, but they've opened up, I think it's something like 17 airports to international travel to try and get the sort of the tourism going again.
Got to get that economy working.
I'd have thought Florida would be one of them.
Oh yeah, got to be on it.
Yeah,
got to be. But yeah, I'd like to go on holiday at some point. We will. But that was the last time I went on holiday.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to go back and do one.
I was thinking about when was I last in Florida? I think it was 3 years ago. I think it was 2017, end of 2017. I think it went, and it's just that weird thing, isn't it? Where I didn't go to Disney, I went to Universal, and it's just having that experience of just walking around. Like I didn't need to go on rides. I didn't need to do that. I could just
amazing
wander around
there, isn't it?
Exactly, it's the atmosphere of just walking around it. I'm walking around Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley and just being like, I can just chill out here. Like I don't have to go and queue for rides. I can just hang out here and it's cool. And that's the kind of thing I like with theme parks of that caliber, because there's a lot of different kinds of theme parks, and I think that the ones that have the big budget to put the effort into to the theming, the hint in the name, like the theming is important. You can go to a theme park that's got roller coasters and stuff, and that's great. Like Alton Towers. Alton Towers is a great theme park. However, there's not much in the way of theming there. There's cool rides and there's cool stuff.
It's such a mismatch of just all these weird. I mean, look at where Rita is. So it used to be what was it Ugland? So they open up this ride, and then suddenly you've got this drag race ride in the middle of caveman land.
Yeah,
just doesn't fit in. And then they changed it, and they opened 13 next to it, and now it's just like, I mean, it's still Ugland, right? I think, pretty sure it's still called Ugland, but there's nothing about it that feels themed to that anymore.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
it's now called the Dark Forest, isn't it?
That's it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's just turn let's turn Rita into a ride that's been taken over by a tree. That makes perfect sense.
That's the thing. Like, ride wise, I enjoy the rides at Alton Towers. It's a fun day out, but it doesn't have that big budget theming that you get in the Florida theme parks, where you can wander around. And I'm desperate to go to Galaxy's Edge. Desperate to go. The idea of wandering around. The idea that when they opened Galaxy's Edge, if you were a cast member in that area, they basically opened up a big warehouse of costumes and props and accessories and said, invent your character. And that's the character you play in Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. And I just thought, that is like my fucking dream. If someone said, here's a bunch of Lucasfilm quality costumes and props.
Yeah.
Go just be a guy in Star Wars. Just pick someone, make it up, and just do that all day. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, you want to pay me for this? Okay. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing where that's what I want to see, just to be able to hang out in that area and just experience that. I think that's the kind of the experiential holidays where you don't have to be doing lots of stuff, but it's just cool while it happens.
Yes, 100%. Like, I love just sitting in Springfield in Moe's Tavern. Just literally sitting in Moe's Tavern, just having a drink at the bar.
Yep.
And just watching people on we did the love test machine and stuff. That's and it's amazing. Just sitting in there thinking, holy shit, I actually am in The Simpsons. Like, Springfield now in there is awesome. Like, compared to when me and you went down, and it was just like, here's some little bits and pieces.
It's just the Back to the Future ride that had been skinned.
No, it's so good, so good. But yeah, I do love the amount of effort that they go to over there compared to over here. It's phenomenal.
They just, Universal in particular, I just get this. I mean, I love every ride there. I love all the both theme parks, but even just you get there and you park up in the parking lot, and then you get on a travelator and you're heading towards City Walk, and you've got the music playing, like that's my happy place. As soon as I'm there, which is usually the first or second day of the holiday, I'm just like, I don't think there's much in this world that makes me quite as happy as that.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah, that approach as you're walking up, and it's
and then the Jurassic Park music starts playing, or the Jaws theme or something, and you're just like,
it's as you go on Alan's Adventure, it's that kind of cool, kind of jaunty pirate music as you're walking up, and I'm like, this is my day. I'm here all day. Yes. I am all in, and it is excellent. And there's a weird thing. It's something I've been chasing for a long time, and this is going to sound weird. So I need to preface this with it. This sounds weirder than I think it is. And there was a certain. It's going to sound bad. There was a certain smell in the toilets at Hogsmeade.
Okay.
And it was either the cleaning solution they were using or the air fresheners in there. But there's a certain scent that has that I've been chasing since the first time I smelled it, because that smell. Again, I appreciate that everything I'm saying now sounds wrong. That smell is the holiday. Like, that smell just I don't know what it was about it, but unfortunately it was in the men's toilet. So
I will find out for you very easily. I'm on so many fucking stupid Orlando pages on Facebook. If I ask someone on there, you get about a gazillion fucking people going, I can tell you it was this, and this is how they do it, and this is how they put it in there, and this is what it is.
It's pine-scented toilet duck.
So, yeah.
But if you can find out what the fragrance is that they use in the men's toilets in Hogsmeade, I would appreciate it. Every time I say it, it sounds worse. But
how do you think Reggie's going to feel putting that question on the Facebook page?
I've got
guys, does anyone know what they use to disinfect the toilets in Hogsmeade?
Please ask that question for me, Reg.
Please do it now, because we'll get an answer before the show's over.
I will do it now. Right.
Yeah.
So, while I'm writing this up, so have you heard that The Walking Dead has now finally got its end date? Season 11 is going to be the final season. That's going to go over 2 years, right? But that's not the end. So when you thought that was going to be the end, there's now going to be a Daryl and Carol spin-off, right? Alongside this new other fucking one that they're doing, alongside Tales from the Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, you know what? We're going to end The Walking Dead, but we're not actually going to end it, because Daryl and Carol are the only ones that are from the original fucking crew now, anyway.
Yeah. So now we know they're going to get through.
So we know it's the Walking Dead television universe.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, Walking Dead isn't anything like the sort of the ratings winner that it used to be. The last season, it was down by about 60%. I mean, it's still probably one of the highest rated things on AMC, but I can't see anyone wanting to tune into a Carol and Daryl show.
No, not in the slightest.
It depends how much they like zombies.
Well, the point of The Walking Dead is I think it's how good the ensemble cast generally is, and I know they change it a lot because there's a lot of people dying.
Yeah.
But what's that going to be like? Surely there's going to be no threat of these two dying, because that's the series.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's what everyone said about Rick Grimes, wasn't it? The whole idea was that you could never have the show without Rick, because he was the show. And over time, I mean, this is obviously, you're right. This is different. This is a Daryl and Carol specific spin-off. If one of them is offed, it's like, well, the show's fucked. But for me, like they probably are two of the, regardless of how the series has ended up, because I stopped watching at a very specific point in the series because I did not like the turn it took, and I did not want to watch it further. And I was going to say, because it's spoilers, but it's from like 4 years ago, so it's not that big a deal. It's when Negan started bashing in skulls.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? It's not like, oh, it grossed me out, because that show was gross anyway. But it's the fact that it just felt like, for the first time, in a show that was all about zombies eating people, it felt like the first occasion where it was violence for its own sake. Do you know what I mean? Like they didn't have to portray it in the way that they did, but they chose to, and the decision felt it felt cold. It felt like quite a horrible way to say goodbye to these characters.
Do you mean just the fact that it happened, or that they showed it?
More in the way that they showed it, because like that whole build up to that, there was a whole part of the series where it was like, oh, is Glenn dead or is Glenn alive? And you didn't really know. Well, you knew that he was alive, but everyone else thought he was dead, right? That was a good chunk of the series, that particular season. And then he gets back, and then they do that, and the way
I agree with that. That was really annoying. Yeah. Suddenly like, oh, he's dead. I've got used to it. Oh no, he's alive. Oh no, wait, he's dead. He's actually dead now.
And I get it. If you're trying to get that kind of shock value and stuff, it was effective. I'm not going to say it wasn't effective, but it's that thing of they took a character who was incredibly sympathetic and incredibly important in that ensemble cast. At least I thought so. And they just did him dirty. You know what I mean? Like, that was just, of all the ways to go out in that series, there have been some pretty horrible ones. But that was really like, that was a proper fuck you to that character. You know what I mean? So at least Abraham got a line. You know, he got something to go out on. Glenn didn't get that, and he didn't deserve that. Made me very sad.
I mean, the only thing was that it was very true to the comic.
Oh yeah. No, I know that, and that's the thing where, because they changed so much, there was a part of me thinking, well, they're not going to do that because they've changed enough of it. And so the fact that they were really true to the comic, that's fine, and I'm sure that that pleased a lot of the comic fans. But it would just, it just felt kind of like, I don't know. It just felt like a fuck you to a character that was quite important to the whole story and getting them where they were.
Sorry. So it's now been approved on 5 of the 7 pages I've put it on, and it hasn't on one of them because the admin has put, "Are you asking a serious question here?" Not approved. And it's already now started. There's people just laughing or going, "I'd like to know." I'm like, oh, here we go. So not only for you, but for other people now I'm doing it for.
Reg, thank you for taking that bullet and being that weird guy, so I didn't have to be.
Just send that admin a link to this podcast when it comes out, Reg.
It was a very serious question, and I'm offended that you did not take it seriously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I'll stop talking about 5-year-old Walking Dead episodes. Apologies.
Yeah, I brought it up. So
yeah, it's what are we going to be left with? So the same one season left, but it's over 2 years, and there's going to be like 25 odd episodes.
Yeah, so there's 24 episodes, which means it's going to be the longest series. So I don't know why they just don't split it into 2.
Exactly. Like, because they don't want to have a cliffhanger. Is that it? I mean, the biggest problem I think at the minute is that it's just. And I know it didn't end because the last episode, for some reason, they didn't get to film in time. So they must film really close to them being released. So it sort of ended on a really damp squib, and everyone sat there waiting for the next episode, for the final one. But the final one is going to be part of the next season, as far as I understand it. I think that's what I read. It's just, I think we're almost getting to the point. I think people are just going to not care. And I'm one of the few people I know who used to watch it that does still watch it and mostly enjoys it. But I don't know. It's getting a bit annoying, like that it just ended so badly. And then we've got Fear the Walking Dead, which actually I watched the first season on Amazon, and it was pretty good. Never got any further with it, but I might pick it up again. And then you've got what's the new one? A New World or something like that?
Yeah, it's something. Hang on, it's on this. So,
and then like I say, we've got the Walking Dead stories, which would just be one-off stories based on some characters and some you don't. So it might just be, oh look, these people in Spain who are trying to deal with the zombie apocalypse for one episode, and then it moves on and shows you a backstory of Michonne or something like that, which might be all right, but it's just a little side thing, isn't it? And then you've got the Rick Grimes movies, the 3 of those they're doing.
What?
Yeah.
So much going on.
So can I ask for spoilers? Is that okay to do here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened to Rick at the end? Did he die, or did he just go off somewhere?
Well, they think he's dead. So yeah, spoilers for everyone at home. But basically, there's a bridge. They get this bridge built, and then they have to blow it up to kill a load of walkers. and he gets blown up as part of it. So they're like, oh no, he's dead. And then towards the end of the episode, you sort of see him washed up on the shore downriver, and then he gets taken away in a helicopter. So we don't know quite who owns the helicopter, who's got him, but someone has him. And then in the latest season, again, I don't know, Reg, you all right? You don't care anymore, right?
No.
So Michonne's now sort of left because she's gone after him because she's found out that he's still alive. So that's what the movies are apparently about. It's about him with this other community and then her going after him, trying to find him. But the weird thing is, so Rick and Michonne had a baby together.
I knew I saw as far as them getting together.
Yeah. Yes. So they've got a baby, and obviously Rick's dead or not dead, and then he's also got the Laurie's baby, who is or may or may not be Rick's.
Jesus.
And then, but she goes, which is, that I mean, the point there is that
Rick Grimes got supersede.
No, more that she's left. She's gone after Rick, so she's just left her two kids in this pretty unpredictable world of zombies and people who are actually in some cases worse than the zombies. She's just left them behind and gone, I've got to go and get Rick. Someone else look after my kids.
That's wild. So what happened to? And again, I know this is not the point of this podcast to recap The Walking Dead for me, but what happened to?
We should
Beth?
call it The Talking Dead. That I bet that's already taken.
That's taken.
Right?
I think. Yeah.
I bet it is taken.
What happened to? I want to say Beth. I want to say Glenn's missus, where they had she was pregnant. Maggie, of course. Beth was her sister.
Maggie had the baby.
Yep.
Maggie has also left, but that's because the actress got a cast in a TV show on, like, I forget, like CBS or ABC or one of the networks, and it got cancelled after the first season. So she's coming back next season.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it.
That's the thing with The Walking Dead. No one's ever really gone.
Oh no, well, unless they die, but.
Well, then they'll come back in this weird, side-on series where you got all kinds of little stories.
The thing is, it's always done a really good job of mirroring the comics, but then also veering off in its own direction. So it's nice to, if you've read it and you know all the sort of the main arcs, it's really nice to see their version of it and sort of have an inkling of where it's going to go, and then either have it confirmed or have it go off in a different direction. That's part of the fun of it. And they ended they just, without announcement, they just went, oh, by the way, the next issue is the last one, and it ended so I can see exactly where this 1/2 seasons are going to take it, which is good. So I'm glad they're not. It almost worried me that it was just going to keep going and going and going, and they were going to Game of Thrones it, where it's like, right, we've run out of the original stories now, so we're going to have to make them up, and then they don't do it very well. So I don't know. I'll see. I haven't watched it. Like I say, I've only watched one season of the first spin-off, so I don't know whether I'm going to go any further with it.
Well, I heard that one was very good. Fear the Walking Dead had a very good cast.
It was fine. It was good. What I saw was good. And what's his face? I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that Rick meets his son in the first episode. Him and his son, Morgan.
Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan's in it from I think the third or fourth season on. So it shows it's set way before.
Yeah, he leaves that again though as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, but fair enough. We should leave because he joins up with everyone in the main series, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He came back. So that was kind of interesting then to see him join. I don't know, see his journey between Rick leaving and then Rick finding him again when he'd gone slightly mad. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Bizarre.
Yeah. Speaking of things where people are waiting on, because Walking Dead needs to come back. I went to see the New Mutants today, which was supposed to come out 2 years ago.
Hey,
I
worth it?
did wonder when that was going to happen.
I'll
did
keep
want
it. There's not really much I want to talk about it, but I'd be pretty confident no one's going to go and see it. And how are you two? Do either of you two want to see it?
I would like to watch it, but I'm not asked if there was spoilers.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
It's not going to spoil much. It's really bizarre. The choices they made in it. If you know the comics, and some really random, very niche characters, it makes you go, oh, like it's them, because it almost needn't be an X-Men movie, but towards the end, it is really an X-Men movie. It's bizarre as it starts to become apparent what's been going on in this hospital that these kids are in. So basically the kids are a danger to themselves and others, so they've been put into this hospital. There's only like 5 or 6 of them, where they're being supposedly looked after and rehabilitated, but really there's something sinister going on. It even crosses over with, there's reference to stuff that happened in Logan, and all these other, so it is very, very much in the X-Men universe. It's not just like a reboot or a separate timeline or anything like that. But it just I think until the end I was quite bored, but there's a really good sort of ending fight scene that's very, very X-Men, that I wasn't expecting. The problem is the big bad that they're beating at the end is this giant 30-foot bear. I didn't realize, and I googled this later to see what exactly was going on with it. It's actually a character. It's actually an X-Men character called Demon Bear, and it's been in the comics several times. And apparently, whoever wrote this knew that, and they brought it into the story. But I sat there. I was like, this is all a bit weird. Why are they fighting this giant demon bear? It's just bizarre. It's just an excuse for a fight. But yeah, apparently it is a comic book character. It's called Demon Bear. And the problem is, it's basically it's this one girl's like projection. She can make you see your worst fears, and they'll just keep coming after you until they kill you. And turns out one of her biggest fears is this demon bear, and she tells this whole story that explains it all. But she gets sort of knocked out unconscious, and then everyone's fighting this bear, and eventually she wakes up, and then she just walks up to it and delivers the worst written lines I've ever heard, and it's just like, stop, no, and then kills it. It's just like, really? Like,
in fairness, though, if someone said, "Hey, Dave, what's one of the things you're most scared of in the world?"
Yeah.
I think if my brain went to 30-foot tall demon bear, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair point. That's a very, very fair point.
It's a very odd move. It's bizarre that they were supposed to be doing loads of reshoots for it, and then Disney just went, yeah, don't bother, we'll just release it as it is. And as a whole, it's fine. It's all right. I don't know why it took so long to come out, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not like, if it was part of the MCU, it would be the first MCU flop. But it's not. It's fine. It's part of that rubbish Fox X-Men universe that no one really cares about.
Just quick updates.
Okay.
So apparently it is the same smell that's in the female toilets. It could either be someone who shit themselves after seeing the giant spider in the Harry Potter ride that wasn't expecting it, which could have been me, and it's just lingered. It is either sick from the butterbeer that didn't actually agree with them. It is a secret combination, which apparently they use in quite a few of the toilets, but not all of the toilets in Universal. Or it's a common disinfectant brand. These are the ones I've had so far.
You're specifically saying that this smell, though, you only smell it in Hogsmeade.
I only have memory of it in Hogsmeade. That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So thank you to some of the internet for taking it seriously, and shame on you, those who did not take this very important question seriously. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at your behavior, and I'm shocked that you would have a go at Reg's comment like that.
It's crazy. Apparently, there's someone who's been chasing the same smell of the Hard Rock Hotel lobby for some time now. He's actually asked the people in Hard Rock Cafe, in the Hard Rock Hotel who work there, what the smell was, and they said they have no idea. So I've got feelings that. Oh no.
Maybe he's having a stroke.
I'm not sure, but I would love to hear you moaning Myrtle in there. Right?
Is he? Oh, did he make it weird and sexual? Why did someone make it weird and sexual?
Because it's the internet, David.
Oh, God damn it, internet.
Great. So now I'm going to have loads of really Harry Potter weirdos referencing my poops.
Sorry, Reg. Thank you for taking up for the team.
Did you preface it with asking for a friend?
Really random question, I know. And I have to say this in advance, as it is a weird question. Does anyone know what smell it is or what they used to disinfect in the male toilets in Hogsmeade? I have a friend who is chasing the smell, as that's his holiday smell. Apparently, the one that reminds him of holiday the most. See, I did tell you it was random, and I swear it's not me. And then I've had a lot of people go, sure, asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. You did it to yourself there, I'm afraid. You did it to yourself.
If it gets me the answer, it gets me the answer.
And I salute you for it.
Exactly. I kind of have that holiday smell with the smell of E.T.
That's a weird smell, though.
It's like, I mean, I smell it all over the place. It's not a unique smell, but every time I smell it, I'm like, that's E.T. That's an E.T. smell.
E.T.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it has an E.T. I guarantee if you ask that, hundreds of people will reply and agree, because that is quite a normal thing, the E.T. smell. The Hogsmeade toilets,
is that a normal thing? How is the smell of E.T.?
E.T. ride smell. There you go, people. You can even E.T. ride smell candle. E.T. ride Universal Studios Orlando smell. According to Wikipedia, Universal uses a pine fresh scent created by the scent marketing company Scentair. So it made it onto Wikipedia that they have a specific scent for the forest, which makes sense because it's a pine forest.
Congratulations, you got your question answered. Mine is someone's dirty great shit.
Absolutely.
Can you ask Google? I didn't even think about asking Google. Have you asked Google what the smell, what they use to disinfect the toilets? I'm on the work laptop, so I'm probably best off not asking what the smell is.
Why would I ask Google when I can get you to ask random strangers on the internet?
Very true, sir. Very true. Well, I'm glad I did your dirty work, literally.
Right. Okay, well, I think on that bombshell, we'll definitely have an update to this next week, so make sure you tune in.
Yeah. Big news.
Yeah, cliffhangers. Right.
Which means you have to participate next week, Dave. No excuses.
I need the answer.
If you don't turn up, then I will never tell you, even if I have the answer.
You monster.
But thank you for tonight.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed this evening's podcast.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And thank you all out there for listening. Until next time, I've been Dave.
I've been Dan.
And I've been Reg.
We did it!
Bye.
Yes! Bye.
Toodles.